I don't understand men. I'm on these dating apps and I think they all play games. I mean, I'm dating men over 70 and I say, well, shall we meet for a drink? Maybe a coffee? Nothing. And I get so upset. What have they got to lose, for God's sake?
This woman is over the hill, past her prime. Men don't want older women anymore when they can have someone much younger. Younger women have less baggage, are more spontaneous, energetic, and outgoing. Younger women are like a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of these older women who still feel entitled, argumentative, controlling and pretty much boring to be around. Younger women ooze femininity, are more active in the sack. No one goes to a shelter and picks an old mangy-looking hound, but most times will pick a cute, cuddly puppy. Most older women are crabby and judgmental, have bad attitudes, constantly nagging. Also, let's not forget that these older women have high mileage.
I have another sad dating story, so tune in. So last night I went on a date with this dude I matched with on Bumble like a few days ago. His first photo was like super cute. I was like, wow, he's really cute. I want to go on a date with him. And I'm scrolling through his other photos. I was like, ooh, he's not as cute in these other photos. Why does he look so old? And I showed my friends. I'm like, yo, should I go on a date with this guy? And they're like, ooh, yeah, let's see. I'm like, yeah. And then look through them. Ooh, he's super hot. Oh my god, yeah, I do. I'm like, no. Keep scrolling through the photos. And they scroll through the photos. Oh yeah, he looked janky. I'm like, yeah. And my one friend's just like, oh, it says he lives in Mexico. Because he has a house in Mexico, but he's Canadian. But he lives there in Mexico half the time of the year and then in Canada half the time of the year. And she's like, oh, he probably just like has bad sun damage and like doesn't know how to put on sunscreen, so like that explains like the leathery skin. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it's like rough. Like he's not aging very well for a 34-year-old man, and I'm 30, so 4-year age gap is like not a big deal. It's like whatever, you know. And she's like, you know what, just go on the date, like don't be shallow. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna be shallow, I'm gonna go on the date with him. So I went on a date with him, and then immediately I'm just like, no second date, like 100%. I just was not attracted to him at all, but I was like, okay, I'll duke it out still on the date and just like have the first date and like leave it be. So we had the date and it was fine. We had like smoothies at Sunset Beach and like watched the sunset and it was nice and he was a good conversationalist and everything went well. Halfway through, he like, I guess he found a moment in time to like wanna lean in for a kiss. So he like looked at me like, he didn't even lean in, he like pulled my head and like kissed me and I'm just like, but I wasn't gonna be like, ew, yucky old man kiss, go away, you know? I was just gonna be like, oh, I kissed him and I was just like, didn't expect that to happen. And he's just like, oh, well, you reciprocated, so I guess you liked it. And he kind of just like laughed it off. I was just like, ugh.
This woman says the guy she met on a dating app looked janky, but I guess not janky enough since she went on a date with him despite claiming she was not attracted to him at all. This is typical of these modern women who love to gaslight people every moment they get. She is 30, about to hit the wall, yet still acting like she still has options. She kissed him supposedly reluctantly during their date, but wait, it gets better.
An hour or so later, I'm like, I'm sleepy and tired, I want to go home. And like throughout the conversation, we realized that we actually live fairly close to each other. So we took the same journey home and the whole day was like 2 hours. I don't know, it wasn't very long. So we took the train home and then we walk home and then we get to his house first because it was first on the journey. And yeah, we again kissed each other goodnight and then I'm like, okay, peace out. And then I left and I walked home and then I showered, whatever, went to bed.
So this woman spent more hours around the so-called junkie man she met on a dating app, kissed him again and still pretends she was disgusted by him. What a hypocrite. So she is blaming the dating apps for meeting a Chad or Tyrone, someone she obviously claims she had no attraction for, yet still made out with him multiple times and probably would have loved to see him again. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up.
I am so tired of feeling like it's never gonna be my turn to find love, and I know that someone out there knows what I mean right now. Like, I know I'm overreacting to this specific incident, but this is like the 4th time this has happened since I re-downloaded the dating apps earlier this month and decided, you know what, I'm an adult. I'm gonna try and get like an adult relationship and actually do dating for once. So we match, we talk for a while, we plan the date, right? We can't do that day, we move the date to this day, totally fine. I go, how about 5:30? Reasonable time. Let's actually get dinner. Like, let's commit to this. This seems promising. He goes, okay. Then he texts me and goes, can we actually do 6:30? Because I have a meeting. It's going to run a little long. I'll be able to do 6:30 instead. And I said, that's a little bit annoying because it's a tad bit late. I'm going to be starving, but that's fine. So today's the day, right? 5:45 rolls around. I've just finished doing my hair and makeup and I get another text from him going, hey, I'm running late again. Could it be possible that we move the date to 7 again? So I text all my friends, both guys and girls, just to make sure I'm not crazy and go, do I allow this? And they go, no. Moving it once, maybe. Twice, That's where I would have stopped it, but a third time? Absolutely not. I'm starving at this point, and that's just disrespectful of my time. So I send him a little respectful, you know what, hey, don't even sweat it, like, you enjoy your evening. It's pretty late already, and I am starving, so I'm just gonna eat. And he keeps texting me, and he's also like now trying to guilt trip me, being like, I'm not going to enjoy my evening, like, blah. So red flag, you know, bullet dodged, I guess, in the long term. And usually I would just let it go. However, I have planned like almost 4 or 5 dates now since I re-downloaded the apps. Almost every single time, this is exactly what keeps happening. They keep pushing the date back until I just have to say, hey, I'm not going anymore. Because that's disrespectful as my time.
This woman is entitled and demanding. She is upset because her demands were not met. She believes that she is always right and never wrong. She wants to dictate what the date should be, when and where, and if the man is unable to meet her demands, then she sees it as a red flag. Her date told her that he would be in a meeting at her requested hour, and guess what? She found that fact to be very annoying. Truth of the matter is that her attitude and demands were a red flag to the man. She admits that 4 times she has experienced the same results. Well, maybe the problem is her. People who are entitled behave like spoiled brats. Men previously ran away from dating her, and many more will do the same in the future.
And me as a person, and like, I know this isn't the biggest deal in the world, but especially feels like it really digs into that childhood wound of like, no one's ever gonna love you. You're never gonna find anyone who loves and respects you. And it's like, why does this keep happening? Like, when you make a plan and you say you're gonna show up at a certain time, and maybe it's just me, I need you to show up at that time. I need to know that you are a person of your word and that you can show up for me, especially like early on in the beginning like this. It's just a big thing for me, and like trusting people and consistency. Shout out childhood wounds. Why is it so hard to find a man who respects you and your time as a person? These are some very bare minimum standards to be setting, and why does it feel so impossible for them to meet? Like, I've had enough. I'm exhausted. It feels like there's absolutely no end in sight. Everyone on this planet deserves someone who respects them and their time and treats them well. And I'm not even asking people to like move mountains for me anymore at this point. It feels crazy. Like, these boys and dating are genuinely starting to make me feel crazy.
The modern woman wants chivalry on their terms. Unfortunately, men nowadays do not consider these women worthy to pursue a relationship with. These modern women do not bring any value to a man, so men reciprocate by losing interest in him quickly. This woman is very unstable and blames men for bringing out some old childhood wounds. Men, when you see this type of woman, run. A lot of men probably never met the standards and expectations of this woman, so she picked a Chad. It took her more than 6 months to realize that Chad was in another relationship and was never serious about her. She continued using the dating apps to meet more Chads, and the consequence of that is she now has HPV, human papillomavirus, a sexually transmitted disease that causes genital warts. She never gave any decent man a chance and went for Chads. This is absolutely crazy. I do feel sorry for her, but again, these modern women have to face the consequences of their actions. Many good men were never good enough for her, so now she is definitely not good enough for us.
So I was on Tinder like 4 months ago, more or less. I'm a very awkward person when it comes to meeting people in real life, so Tinder is actually really good for me. And to my luck, I did end up finding someone, and you know, we were seeing each other for like 2 or 3 months. Everything was going really good, very promising, and you know, I decided to take a holiday, and this guy just hated the fact that I was leaving. So he just ghosts me, like disappeared, whatever. I'm like, okay, gotta get back on Tinder. So I get back on Tinder, and you know, I'm swiping and I'm swiping, and there's just no one that like I vibe with. So I'm like, you know what, today's just not the day, I'll try again tomorrow. So I come back tomorrow or the day after, and I open my Tinder, and Tinder decides that no man is worthy of my love. Yeah, because they banned me. Tinder banned me for no apparent reason, and it's not one of those like 30-day bans. No, they banned me for life. I can never ever make another Tinder account on like any fake email that I use. It's impossible. So to answer your question, no, I'm not on Tinder. But Tinder, if you see this, unblock me.
Here's why you're not getting any matches on the dating sites and why you're so freaking frustrated that there aren't any good guys. My name is Jamie Canner. I just had a facial, and these are all the tips on online dating. I'm a master at it. After 6 years of being separated, single, divorced, and figuring it out. All right, so here's the tips. First of all, you've got to reach out first, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't sit back and wait. Like, your guy is out there and he may be too shy to send you a message, but here's the catch. You have to reach out with something cute, clever, funny, like some guy writes, hey, I can build a house for you. So write, hey, Mr. Fix-It Man, I need like a new laundry room. Are you free? Like, say something fun, silly from their profile. That's number one. Number two, did you know that when you add new pictures, and you should do this at least once a month, the algorithm thinks you're brand new and sends you out to more people?
This woman is a so-called master, expert at finding men through dating apps. I mean, she has been at it for 6 years since her divorce, but with no luck. Yet she feels she is the expert on advising women how to be successful using dating apps. Ironic, modern women will always look for advice from other women, supermarket shelf women magazines and books written by women on how to get a man, or for relationship advice. Why don't they ever just listen to men instead? Men want peace of mind, not someone who constantly nags. Men want to feel needed and wanted. Men want a woman that is fun to be around her. Men want a woman to be loyal and faithful. Men want to be fed and have sex on a fairly regular basis, or simply put, a full belly and empty nut sacks on a regular basis.
I want to talk about why I've quit dating apps again. Full disclaimer, I know that dating apps work for some people, but so far, they haven't worked for me. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And I definitely know they work because my brother and his fiance are getting married next month, and they met on Bumble. But so far for me, that hasn't been the case. And I have been around. I turned 40 in a couple of months. So since dating apps first came out, I've used them, I've met people, I've dated people, but I have never ended up in a relationship off the back of a dating app. Let me know about your experiences in the comments and what dating apps you use. If they've been particularly successful, share. But I just find that what happens is I end up going on a dating app, swiping through, and it's just like I collect matches, but no one's really willing to kind of talk and actually get involved in a conversation. It's just these kind of like weird questions that we're like, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. And then nothing. And then like maybe 3 days later, I guess when someone's bored, they'll come and decide to talk to you again. And I feel like for me, at the stage of my life that I'm in now, where I'm looking for like a serious, committed, long-term relationship, possibly even marriage, I just find that I end up getting more frustrated, not just sexually frustrated, but there's that as well, than anything else when I'm using dating apps, because it's just like, what is the point?
The lady is correct in that some people do find love and long-term partners through dating apps, but this is often the exception rather than the rule. Dating apps can be likened to gambling. While there's a possibility of winning, the odds are usually stacked against you. It's a process of trial and error, akin to searching for a needle in a haystack. Statistics reveal that many women on dating apps find a significant majority of men unsuitable for their expectations and standards. These women may be victims of their own inflated egos, believing themselves to be superior to average men. Their unrealistic standards can prevent them from recognizing genuine connections. It's important to note that nearly all major dating sites are owned by a single company, Match Group, which has a history of employing manipulative tactics to exploit rather than connect lonely people. Building a lasting relationship requires time, effort, and genuine connections. It's not something you simply find, it's something you actively create. Without a foundation of connection, it's impossible to build a meaningful relationship.
Hey guys, I'm not posting this for attention, but I'm posting this because, God, heartbreak sucks. And just keeping it real with y'all. It's definitely a process. And I know there's no timeline and you can't rush it, but the funny thing is that I downloaded Hinge to try and distract myself from said heartbreak. And God, like, how did I ever deal with this prior to meeting the person that I am heartbroken over? I'm just like, this sucks. Dating sucks. Dating apps suck. Okay? Like, who's with me? The fact that some girls will just say, no, you don't have to do the prompt. You freaking just like a picture. Don't start the conversation. No, I'm starting the conversation. And then I'm like, oh, I got a match. The person doesn't even respond to the prompt I started the conversation. Like, I don't... So what, now you want me to double message? Like, no. You can take a hike. Not doing that. And I'm gonna erase the app again. Because it's like, I did start the conversation. Now you want me to start the conversation again? No, how about you respond to what I said? Also, just like, another guy asked me to go out this weekend. I'm like, okay, sure. I'm like, these are the times I'm free. It's 5 days later, still nothing. So I'm just like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't do it, guys. So, no more tragic dating stories. No more nothing. It's all done. Yeah. Sorry. This is a total 360 from my normal content, but I can't do it anymore. It's so exhausting. God, it is exhausting. You know what's even worse is when you find the person and then you can't be with them for the worst freaking reasons. Okay, I should probably go to sleep. Thanks for listening to my rant. I know that's not what TikTok is for, but whatever.